When my son read them, he actually read Hunger Games when it first came out, and was like, "Oh, Mom, there are these books that I'm reading that I really love." And I bought him Mockingjay. I was in the bookstore, and I was like, "Oh, look, here's the third book in that series you like. It just came out." And he loved it. And then a few years later, his younger sister started reading it, and I was reading it along with her because she likes me to read books, which means that I end up reading a lot of YA, whether I want to or not. And and I loved it. I was so compelled by the books, by the stories, by the political allegory, the incredible narrative, how the strength of the female heroine, and there was clearly a part that I could play. So I was like, I called my manager and I'm like, "Hey, is that cast?" And so that's how it happened. So I wanted to give her a political evolution. I wanted her to be someone who started in one place and ended up in another. And I think there was something to her very restraint and her opaqueness that was interesting. You know, that someone who's been living underground with very few resources, and with even a narrow perspective in terms of what's going to happen in the near future, because they're not allowed to hope for much. You know, and so what does that create in a leader? You know, what are their expectations, and how do you surpass them? She's very dismissive of Katniss initially because she thinks she's not in good shape. She's got PSTD. She's not someone who's strong enough. You know, one of the things that Coyne says is the game's destroyed her. This is a kid, you know, she's been watching her and she's like, she's a shell of a person, and we can't use her for our political gains at that time. You know, she's wonderful to work with. She's a delightful person. She's really fun and funny and generous, and she's exceedingly talented, so she makes everything very easy.